Welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys fear to tread. And we had a couple. I met him the other day telling me all a bunch of bullshit. Oh, you know what they did 40 years ago? I don't care what they did 40 years ago. It was always Japan against Japan. It's real easy when there's no competition. Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're talking about the fella that was giving you some jib during the week.
Yeah. You don't respect them. No, I don't respect them 40 years ago. You're only good as your last race, and they're not doing well because their engineering's weak. So everybody, you talk to a MotoGP expert, they will say the same damn thing.
Like you're always getting the heat. Like they
they don't have like we said, Max said the same thing. They don't have the innovation. They copy. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not innovation. It's not just innovation, right? It's the whole philosophy of building a bike is completely different
true.
Than in Europe. And look, like I did see some of the comments, and look, while I will say to that person, yeah, Honda or whoever it was, have a great racing pedigree, right? They have done absolutely amazing things in the past. But I was young and handsome too at one stage, but that is in the past, right? It is not the current situation of where we are, right? And, results in the track do still sell motorbikes, and at the end of the day, no manufacturer would be in MotoGP or World Superbikes if it wasn't to sell bikes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you're a fucking tail end Charlie team or manufacturer, you're under the most savage pressure ever to get that bike towards the front of the grid. And I don't care whether it's because there's a contract that Honda have to be there. Yamaha, who don't have that same kind of thing, are under a massive amount of pressure to get that bike towards the front of the grid again, right? So it's an expensive marketing exercise to sell bikes, right?
Yeah. In 30 years, you didn't have the European companies. They were just starting up. And you need cubic money now, and you needed cubic dollars then, just like today. It wasn't cheap now,
Yeah, look, I just think there's more to it than meets the eye. There's a whole philosophy and a whole control thing. And maybe Honda are biting off their nose to spite their face and stuff like that. Maybe they are. Look, maybe they're victims of their own selves. But both Japanese companies had the same philosophy. Let's hire a super alien.
Yep.
He will make the difference, right? And you won't see it today, but tomorrow's video, Stefan Bradl talks about what is going on with Honda and all this. Now, we're shooting this on Saturday, but basically he gave some really, really good insight into, like, they cannot feel the front of the bike with the aero. If they remove the aero, they can feel the front of the bike, but they can't go into the corner as fast, right? Then they're saying with the turbulence mid-corner, they're still losing the front end feel completely, right? From if another bike is in front of them, the wash from that coming back to them is destabilizing them in the corner. And then obviously they can't get the rear grip out from the bike, right? So they can't get out of the fucking corner. So
did Zarco and another guy say it's the actual base of the bike? It's their
Zarco said the DNA of the bike, and look, that's where it comes back down to, is like, fundamentally the bike was designed without aero in mind, and now they're trying to put aero through it.
Yeah,
and that's it. But look, we've beaten that drum thousands of times. Yeah. But look, it is interesting that, like, that video with Bradl, where he says literally the weakest part of our bike is that we cannot use the rear tire.
What I was surprised at,
we just have no grip.
What I was surprised at is when they said that one of the execs said, we're still going to do it Honda's way. I don't care. Everybody says we're doing it.
No, that's taken out of context, Jake. So I went back and I read on
that. I don't know. Christ, there's so much crap going on today. It's unbelievable.
So it's
these videos.
They're open to the change, but they don't want to lose complete. Like, they don't want to hand everything over in the way of, like, here you go, fix it. Do you know what I mean? They still want maybe some of Honda's company morals or whatever fucking is within it. Do you know what I mean? But it's not going to be a complete in-house Japanese fix anymore. That's not going to happen anymore. So that is a good thing for Honda fans, is that they're starting to, and Yamaha are doing the same, and you can see it with Yamaha, right? Yamaha have Delara, they have Marmoni, they have Bartoloni, they have all these figures.
You see the change more with Yamaha, definitely.
You can, but if you like, if we go again, like how do you measure success in MotoGP? And look, we've all agreed you can't measure it with the first rider, you measure it with the second rider, right?
Yep.
And the fucking difference between the second rider in Yamaha and the second rider in Honda is a fucking couple of points. It's fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? So you're like, it's very hard to say they're making progress, because nothing. There's both as equal pile of shit at the moment.
You know, that's a good point. I didn't think about measuring the Yamaha second rider with the Honda second rider.
Yeah, well, like you can't, like, no disrespect to Mir, right? Who is their lead rider, or apparently lead rider, right? You can't measure Mir and Quartararo on riding styles.
No.
Right, because Fabio is in a different fucking league than Mir. Let's be fair and very, very honest, right?
And it's not just styles; it's also just talent. Quality.
But it's talent. But he's far. He's a far more. He's a far better rider. Let's be fair, right?
Yeah.
And Fabio is in that elite alien group without question. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether Mir has won one race, he's won the world championship, and I've always said this: he deserved his world championship because he got to the end of the season with the most points. Do you know what I mean? And that's it.
All points. His ass back into that championship.
Okay. Points equals.
He stuffed the trophy.
Did he win a race that season? I don't know.
Doesn't
he
matter.
won his only race.
I'll put it this way, Jake, have you ever pulled a girl that was way out of your league?
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up. That's just happened to Joe and Mir, right?
Yeah.
He won a championship that was out of his league, but he won it, right? He got it. He got to go.
For her too.
Exactly. But saying that, he still got that championship. When others fucked it up, he was the dickhead standing there going, "Right, lads, I'll take her hopes up." Do you know what I mean? So
got lucky.
It doesn't matter whether he got lucky. He got the most points at the end of the season. End of. Did he come back and do it the next?
Sock with me.
Huh?
That's why I carried that extra sock with me when I went to my clubs.
Yeah. But anyway, right. So for me, when I look at it, I can't compare the two. I couldn't compare Fabio to Joe and Mir on lead riders, alien status alone, right? Like, even if Fabio was on the Honda next to Mir, I would expect Fabio to beat Mir.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't really compare them even on the same bike, right? So when I look at it, so I look at the second rider. Where's the second bike in the championship? Right. So have a look in the championship. Where's Rins? I think is it Zarco or Nakagami? It's one of them. It's not fucking Marini anyway, because he is no points. So anyway, so that's where I look at it. So, like, realistically, the second half of this season, I expect a big change out of both things. Now, Yamaha need to get their fucking act together and find a country where it doesn't rain to go testing. You know?
Honda, everybody said, no. I bet on Yamaha, remember?
Yeah, but like, we'll take the first riders out of it. We'll see where they are. Do you know what I mean? And realistically, there's probably a couple of points between it. So they're both in the same pile of poo. They're both in the same pile of poo.
I like that. Yeah, another season. It's a massive pile of poop. It is.
It is, though. Like, how else would you describe the current situation? Yeah, look, like, you can be positive with Yamaha. You can see the people that they're bringing in, and they're quite open about it, which is good. Well, but the pile of poo.
We love your technical views.
Sorry, look, if it's a fucking pile of poo, it's a pile of poo. Do you know what I mean? Just try not to step on it, like, you know. But Yeah, but look, you can see what Yamaha are doing. You can see with Honda, and like I give kudos to Honda for trying everything, but I think they're trying to throw too much at it and see where it sticks. They have a massive mechanical problem where they cannot get the rear of that bike to sit and work with the tires, right? Bradley said that we can get about 80% of the traction compared to the others. Like, that's a massive amount of fucking traction loss. You know, you'd be talking maybe 5 or 6%. It would be a big gap. 20%, and then he's like, going into the corner, we have to try and make it up on the brakes on going into the corner. We can't feel the front because of the aero. It's giving us false readings. Then if we're close to someone, the fucking the wash off that then is compounding the front end feel that we have going through the corner. And then when we get to the corner exit, sure, we can't fucking get the traction to get out. It's just like
it's a rock and a hard place. Yeah,
yeah. It's the vicious circle of fucking life is what they're going through. I suppose the next thing is Top Rack. Came out during the week, and I did hear grumblings actually when I was in London last weekend, and I did hear grumblings that there was these things happening. And as you said, Jake, there's an awful lot of shit coming out of at the moment of people and this and that and the other. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I can't really see them. And I know this sounds really disrespectful, and it's not really disrespectful, and I meant in that way, right? But when you look at the current people in Superbike, okay, Buliga is in there this year, his first season, right? And then you have Johnny Ray and you have Bautista. In my opinion, both of those have had their day and their chance and their opportunity to get to MotoGP, right? And like, Top Rack got off the Yamaha, and the Yamaha hasn't run as well since, right?
Right.
He's got onto the BMW, and he's transformed that bike. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, that's the bike to have. But even the other three riders behind him, they can't fucking hold a candle to him. Like, and
yeah, but hold a second. Look who you're talking about.
Oh,
okay, you're talking Redding, all right? Who never did a damn thing off it, right?
He complained, to be fair.
Vandermark.
He complained a lot. Yeah, he was good at that. Yeah.
Mickey Vandermark,
and Vandermark. You know,
Right.
Mickey Vandermark. Okay. And what did he do other than break a leg every once in a while? Break an arm, break a leg. He just switched off.
And who'd you have then? You've Gerloff, isn't it? Like, Gerloff's not a bad rider. He's not great.
Gerloff not too big, by the way.
But no, I suppose my point here is that my point here in it is that he's taken that bike from a level, like, that bike is the Aprilia step, is what I would call it. That bike was a good bike, just had ordinary riders, right? And he is an alien, right? And he is showing his class, in my view. You know, like, he's able to give it to Bautista, and I know Bautista has the weight penalties and this, that, and the other. But he's even on the Yamaha, he was able to give it to him. Do you know what I mean? And he was underpowered. He didn't have a good as bike as Bautista. We will be fair, and he was still giving it to him, right? And is it a bit of a waste of talent for him to be in there? And obviously, look, his manager has come out and said, we've already told BMW we would like to get out of our contract. First thing came into my mind when I heard that was like, okay, they have a signed deal in MotoGP.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's signed. It's done. Like, there is no fucking.
Yeah.
There's
either that or sitting on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's not going to sit in the shelf. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
contract
he's been trying to get the MotoGP since he was with Yamaha. But was it like a sponsor issue, or they didn't have room for him or something?
He wanted to go in, but Keenan wanted to have him in the works team.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, saying that, there was also that you're right. There was also a little bit of a sponsorship issue because Sawafawaglu's academy in Turkey is funded by Red Bull, which Top Rack is one of the graduates from that academy. So there would be a massive, like, Top Rack still goes back to that academy weekly and races with them. Very much so like the VR46 Academy. They all race around or whatever. And if he went to a team with Monster sponsorship, it wouldn't look well in the academy. He's rolling in there with being a Monster sponsored rider. Do you know what I mean? In a Red Bull funded academy, let's just call it. So look, it's a delicate situation. I would think, I have a feeling it is Yamaha. That is my feeling. I think that the whole Pramac situation, I've heard now, will not be resolved until after the summer break.
Okay. So you think he's going to Pramac and not he can't go to Monster?
I originally heard he was going to go to Honda, right? But I've also now heard that Mir is re-signed for 2 years. It's not confirmed, but I've heard that he's
masochist.
Must be some good money. Some good money.
Good money, I think. Good money. Well, look, I think they lost Vinales. And you look around then and you're like, okay, who's available on the grid that would be any better than Mir? Not many.
Yeah.
There's not many. You know, so
I wouldn't think he'd go back to Yamaha because we went first off to get a bad taste in his mouth because he went on that testing and he said he was off 2 seconds, right? And they said you weren't good enough, right? Remember that?
They didn't say no. They wouldn't give him the work spike. That's what the problem was.
And he always said, I want to go on a good factory team. Now, if he gets a good factory, do you think he wants to come in there on a team that's, just face it, Yamaha's struggling? Does he want to be new and struggling and starting out?
I don't know. Is it the
Wouldn't he be a better KTM rider or a better Aprilia rider?
But if he went in there, he'd have instant expectation to perform.
Well, don't they always have expectations? I mean, come on.
Not in fucking Yamaha and Honda at the moment.
They're struggling, so they're
Look at fucking Luca Marini. He's not like if that was KTM and Luca Marini was nearly halfway through the season and had no points, he'd be fucking out in his hole, even though that he had a 2-year contract.
I was gonna say, yourself.
Out you go. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, KTM is with
that's for sure.
Exactly. Pit Byron with Jack. He's
So you want $1 million of my money? Get the out of here.
Exactly. So look, for me, when I look at it, like, there is no major pressure to perform, especially in the Japanese teams right now, because they're on the comeback. That's what they have those concessions for. Those concessions are going to last, lads. You know that. They're going to last until people start getting fucking up there. Do you know what I mean? So
they're going to renew that thing. They're going to do whatever.
No, it's renewed. It's renewed. It's renewed.
The Japanese catch up again. That's the whole reason for the goddamn 850cc bullshit.
No, I wouldn't say that now, but like the concessions are going to last, and they're going to remain in place until.
You say they're supposed to end next year.
Well, there will be something for the 2027 rigs, I think. But we'll wait.
That's
and see.
A load of crap.
But I think that's for all. Do you know what I mean? What else is it? So look, I don't know. I think it's Yamaha. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Aprilia in them, but I would think it's more Yamaha. I think there's the connection there. That's adding more fuel to the fire now about Pramac, who apparently an insider has said that it's not going to be till the summer break that things are.
You know, it'd be good for him. Think about it. Where would he be really good?
He's based off his style.
Trackhouse,
yeah.
You could have it. You could have a track house. Yeah.
Yeah, like, get rid of that rat. The
Raul.
Yeah, I don't know. Raul,
I think they're going to stick with him. I have a feeling they'll stick with him and dump Oliveira.
That's like sticking with a case of herpes.
But look, Miguel. I don't know. Miguel hasn't did enough for me. I don't know. He hasn't, in my mind,
bro.
He hasn't did enough.
Oliveira has just fell on his face.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, so
like when I look at Oliveira, and like I know people, there's Mikel Oliveira fans in the community, right? it's not being very disrespectful to him, but look, results are results, and he has had good bikes for the last 2 years, and he's not performed. Okay, he got taken out, and he had accidents, needed this, needed that, and the other. That's all well and good, like this year. It hasn't been great. He's had equal equipment to Maverick and Elish, and he's not performed anywhere near the standard or the front.
Nowhere near the front.
Mm-hmm. No. So look,
And what was, refresh me, and what was his injury?
His leg or something. What
was his shoulder? I can't remember what I know he did his shoulder when he crashed with Fabio.
But shoulders heal up.
Yeah. Look, he's had multiple big ones. Like we did joke that he had a target on his back, and always someone was trying to hit him, right?
Mm-hmm. Did he do his wrist?
I don't know. I don't know what he did. He's had a pretty tough time. Personally, myself, I like the guy. I don't think he's a bad rider at all.
No,
I just don't think he's killer edge anymore. Do you know what I mean? He was killer edge in KTM. And I know people are going on about riders in their past and all of this, and they're right in the way that no one becomes a bad rider; they just slow down a bit. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And exactly. And look, I think he's getting to that kind of point in his life as well, and where you're second guessing that millisecond, and it's one of the things that I really respect about Aleix Espargaro is that he could have carried on in Aprilia, but he was only willing to give it 99%, not the 100%. And he's right to call it at that stage. Do you know what I mean? Today, fuck that. I'm not going to be doing it. If they're going to be working 100% and I'm only going to be riding at 99%, it's not really a good.
Yeah. It's taking up space.
Exactly. Now, a very interesting thing, and I did comment about this before, and people were telling me I did a video about Mark being spotted in the Red Bull KTM gas motorhome, and people were like, "That's a Red Bull race, or that's a Red Bull motorhome," and whatever. So I went and I did a lot of research on this, right? And it is KTM's motorhome, KTM/GasGas's motorhome. It just happens to also be the former Red Bull Racing Formula One team's old motorhome. Okay, so it was given to them, gifted to them by Red Bull.
Red Bull, yeah.
Okay, so that's why there is yes, Red Bull sponsors riders, as in not MotoGP riders, as in sponsored riders from Red Bull or invited guests of Red Bull would be in there. There would be no reason for Marc Marquez, who is a sponsored rider from Red Bull, to be going in there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
There would be no reason for Jorge Martin to be going in there. They would have their own Red Bull designates at the trackside if there's anything needed. So what is interesting is that Pol Espargaro has come out and said that Jorge Martin also had an offer from KTM to join them.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said if they had given that offer to Jorge Martin, he would also assume they'd given that offer to Marc Marquez.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, Pit Byra came out and said, we didn't talk to Marc. But they did. Of course they did. Everyone fucking talks, right? So I believe those conversations, and what my point was that night was that this was the night before any decision was made from any side, right? So this was the Saturday night in Mugello, I think it was, that I put it onto the group to yourselves, didn't I? And I was like, there was gas on one side and KTM. So it is their hospitality motorhome for KTM and gas, right? So Marc would have no business in there unless he was going to speak to someone from KTM or gas, right? Do you know what I mean? Like the team principals hide away upstairs in there. And if people are doubting me, please go and look at the old Red Bull motorhome, and you will see there's the downstairs where it's invited guests and hospitality and all of this. And then there's upstairs for exclusive VIPs and team management and stuff like that at racetracks.
And by the way, I could have didn't on Crash Net didn't they have a statement from Pit Karen that he talked to Marquez?
No, he said that he said they hadn't properly talked to Marquez since.
But then they came out. I thought he came out afterwards and said, "Oh yeah, we did talk to him." And I was like, "What?"
No, they didn't have proper negotiations, is what he said. So
no, well, that's kind of.
But that only makes sense to consider all your options. I mean, it only makes sense for Jorge and Mark. You know,
like any alien that's out there, and you might have the chance of getting one of them to your team. You have to speak to them. You know, you would actually be doing disservice to your team if you didn't have it, right? I genuinely believe for Mark there was. I don't think Ducati ever offered until the decision was made, and I still firmly believe Jorge took his own destiny in his own hands. He's like, I want my answer. You giving me an answer? No, we're waiting a few days. Fine, fuck you. Do you know what I mean? And I think if we look at his whole rationale and the way he's portrayed this all along, like, you know, I'm telling you, I need the decision. I want a decision. He gave him to the 2nd of June.
Yep.
He didn't get his answer. Do you know what I mean? He's like, right, fuck this. He had the contract already pre-done with Aprilia. You know, contracts take weeks, really. Do you know what I mean? It's not a matter of days.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think the offer was already there. It was solid. It was approved. The T's were crossed, the I's were dotted overnight, and signed. That's it. Boom, done.
Even that, I remember him saying, he goes, if they tell me that choosing Mark because of marketing reasons, I can understand. That's like saying, listen, if you want to pick him, okay? I'm not going to be angry if you say he has great marketing potential and you don't, okay? That's what he's more or less saying there. You know?
Yeah. And
marketing
then we hear
more money. So
yeah, but look, again, this is the point. The likes of Ducati don't want to sell more bikes, as in they don't want to go up to 100,000 bikes a year, right? That's what you would have Marquez for, right? Like since 2000, they've only increased their bikes for sale per year by 20,000.
Yeah, that's because the bikes are expensive, pal.
It is, but the world is not in a recession.
Oh hell,
listen, I know car dealers in Ireland, man, and there's fucking cars going out the door, left, right.
Ireland is on an upswing. It really is.
So is Europe. Your majority of Europe is as well. Remember, I build car chargers for things. So I have a lot of understanding of what's happening in not just the EV market, but the motor market. So I understand what's happening, and their cars are like, there's no slowdown in buying of cars across Europe. It is not different types of cars. Yes, some people are going this way, some people are going that way, right? But the other thing is that so there's no shortage of money, because getting a new car is a luxury on this side of the world, right? I don't know what it's like in the States, but getting a new car is a luxury, and it's one of the first things to go. If money is tight, you'll immediately see car sales straight down. Do you know what I mean?
I was in the car business, ran 9 dealerships, but the one thing about the car industry that's odd, it's different than most, being that a car is a necessity to get back and forth to work, they trend, right? They trend where they'll run out and they just don't have enough, like people wore their cars out. You know what I mean? They have to go out and get a new one. So, and it does it in waves. So you can actually have a recession and people are buying new cars because the used car market's worn out. You know,
you're right in that, but the testing, especially in Ireland, England, and in some EU countries, the testing has got so strict that the cars don't, like, it's very rare in Ireland that you see a 10 or a 15-year-old car now. Totally very, very rare. Does that make sense?
Rare here, I can tell you that right
now.
Yeah,
no, it'll be extremely rare, right? Because they just don't, because like your car gets 5 years, after 5 years or so, or whatever it is, or 6 years, I can't remember. Then you have to get it tested every year, and it's fuel and emissions and all of this shit. And you'll never get past it. Like, you know what I mean?
In the United States, people are keeping their cars to 80, 100,000 miles. It's not uncommon. You can't find a used car that's under 80,000, 90,000 miles. You just don't have the money.
Yeah. But look, that's what I'm saying is like if Ducati, in my view, if Ducati wanted to raise the stakes and sell more bikes over the past 20 years, they've only increased it by 20,000 bikes. 40,000.
Well, yeah, 20,000 bikes is 25%.
It's not a lot when you look at the racing pedigree and the marketing and all of this. Like when you look at the 916, the 996, all of these iconic motorbikes, right? That they could sell hundreds of thousands of these.
Yeah, they're not.
And they choose not.
They're not as savage to make big numbers. But I think.
Yeah, but the
margins are so low right now. I don't think they'd mind having 100,000, buddy.
I don't think so. I think they would believe that it would destroy the brand, and I really go back to the brand thing. Like I looked at it there, right? A Dainese set of letters, right? A standard set of Dainese letters, right? I think it was like 1,100 quid for, I think, right? The exact same, right? With fucking Ducati written on it, right? 3,000 fucking euros, right? And you're just like, it's the same fucking suit, but instead of saying Dainese on it, it says
marketing
Ducati.
Yeah, but I'm saying they could go to 100 and still have that same situation. I wouldn't think they go to 300. They won't. They don't want to have 300, but they can go 100.
I think they're sticking with the Ferrari model being
right. That's why they can charge more because it's a limited number. But then I was thinking too, with Marc Marquez going there, can they charge more for having him? You know, at
I don't think they're going to. I don't think they'd be silly enough to raise the price of the bike, the base model of the bike, just because Marquez is there. I think it's more.
Oh.
I think it shows up. I often look at it, and I think it's more of these things like,
make a
firstly, I'm still not convinced Marc was the choice. Do you know what I mean? I think Marc is what they were
number one
with.
choice.
I think they didn't have a choice made.
Yeah,
and I think, and this is where I am, and it's like
they were jammed into
it. So, like, if, for example, right, and this is what I think happened. I genuinely think Jorge said to him Sunday evening, "Do you have a decision?" And they said no, and he said, "Fine, fuck you, I'm doing my own thing." Right?
Yeah.
And then he went and he signed with Aprilia.
Yeah.
And I bet
how stupid would Ducati have looked if they then turned to Marc and said, "Actually, we don't want you. We were going to take Jorge." And they took neither of them, right? They would look completely.
So did they have to take Marquez at that point?
I think the decision was made for them that they could not realistically say thing. And then then the story came out that Ducati said to the two of them, whoever wins between you gets a seat. And that is complete horseshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And Martin accepted it and Marc didn't, because Marc said, I don't have the same tools.
Yeah.
But Marc then also was turning around and saying, well, look, realistically the difference in them is 2/10 maybe. We don't know. I don't know. The engineers don't know. The riders don't know. And then he's like, well, that's 4 seconds in a race. Now, I have never, ever, ever, ever in my whole life in a race seen someone do the exact same lap time every lap, right? So we'll take that 4 seconds that Marc says and push that out the fucking window, because that might be realistically a second. A second over the course of a race is a lot. It's not much.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. If you had 5 bikes finishing within 1 second
a lap.
No. 1 second over a race.
The whole 25 laps. Yeah.
It's not a lot.
So that's not a lot. That's not a lot.
There's no rider that can do the exact same lap time every lap, right? So let's just say, for example, Pecco pulled 2/10 of a second 1 lap, and then he makes a mistake and he loses 3/10 of a second. Then Marc's gap is actually closed if Marc was doing what Marc said, doing of this. So for me, while it is on raw pace, maybe in qualifying, yeah, maybe there is an advantage there. But in a race, there's every single rider is human. And there's this thing called human error, right? And human error happens multiple times a lap, every lap. There's no one that can turn around and say, that's the fastest ever lap. Do you know what I mean? Because when you look at a race, and it's one of the things I always look for after a race is that who had the fastest sector times. And it's very rare that those three fastest sector times were done in a race by one rider on the same lap.
Nope.
Does that make sense?
Same lap. No.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. I genuinely believe
that they come as close as they do in every lap. If you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
The tenth of a second. Think about that. You go 4 miles around the track and you're going dipping through them corners and
you normally
you're gonna come in within a tenth of a second every lap. You know what I mean? That's amazing.
You normally have a flow realistically if you look at lap charts, and I do, of between 1/10 and 6/10 of a second on average. That's kind of the window. So like you could do 2 laps within a tenth of a second, then you could do your next 2 laps could actually be 6/10 of a second slower than that lap that you did. And like you're just like, so there's an ebb and flow in the race. And so like Mark turning around and saying, you know, oh, I think it's 2/10, but that's 4 seconds over the course of a race. If that was a fucking robot doing it and doing the exact same time, boom, 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 boom. But that never happens. Never, ever.
Tough time with that myself.
But
I want to get this off my chest. There is no way I'd give 10-1 odds with everything was at stake. That no one went to. Remember first when he said, "Oh, I'll go to a satellite team," right? I can't believe that with everything at stake that no one went just to make sure. Hey, you will go with Primac, won't you? No one took that for granted. Said, he'll go. Don't worry about it.
But you see, this is my whole point. This is my whole point here is I don't think he was ever offered Pramac.
That would be the other point. Yeah,
I genuinely think coming up,
and then he changed his mind.
Coming up. I think a rumor started and he answered the question saying Pramac is very nice, but it's not really what I want to go. And then this whole thing fed. I have a very strong feeling that what's his name from Pramac turned around to Ducati and said, we may go to Yamaha during that week. And I think Ducati had in their own head this plan, Marco to Pramac thing, but it was never publicly said to anyone. Or said to the riders. And then coming up to the Mugello race, that's when your man, what's his name? Camponi is, or whatever. He went to Ducati and he said, listen, look, we're thinking about moving Pramac to Yamaha. And then that put the fucking cat amongst the pigeons. Everything started to fucking go. Ducati were like, oh shit, our plan now is in jeopardy, right?
So they had to change the plan.
Then Martin was asking for his fucking answer. He's like, you have till the 2nd of June. It's now 2nd of June. What are you doing? They don't fucking know because they still don't know whether Pramac are going to stay with them or whether they're going to go to Yamaha, right?
How stupid would you have to be not to go to Marquez and say,
but no,
hey, you will go. If you don't mind going, is it okay to go to Primac?
But no, I don't. I think, but where I think this was, Jake, is that I think this was in their plan that it was going to go to that he was going to go to Pramac. They had never talked to anyone about it. This was kind of the plan that they were formulating. This is what we think we're going to do.
They just assumed it.
No, they didn't tell anyone that he was going there. Or he didn't. They were like, "This is our initial plan. One of them will go to Pramac. One of them will come to the Ducati." The factory.
They want to keep both riders.
Right? They wanted to keep both of them. However, your man that owns Pramac then put the fucking cat amongst the pigeons with saying, "Actually, we might go to Yamaha." So they're definitely going to lose one of them.
Okay, so you're saying they don't want to say, "Hey, go to Primac." He goes, "Yeah," and then he goes, "Go to Yamaha." afterwards.
So
So
Mark
what-
said he's not going to Pramac at one point, right? Or was that a rumor?
So then someone in the press conference asked him about going to Pramac.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he said Pramac is a very good team, but I'm not going to go there. And then he came up that he said it before, that he's not going to swap one satellite team for another, which he never actually did say until that day. Right. Let's just be fair. Right. It was Valentino Rossi, or wasn't. It was Uzio said that they wouldn't let Bez go from one satellite Ducati team
But
to
before
another.
that, Mark had said I would go to
He did say that when he was down on the ground on his fucking hands and knees begging for a ride. Do you know what I mean? He now realizes that it was the Honda bike that was causing him not to be able to win, and the confidence is up and the swagger is back and the price has gone up.
Yeah.
You know, and what I genuinely think is that there was no talk with the riders about this. I think Ducati had a plan that one of them will go here, one of them will go there. And it was actually Pramac put the cat amongst the pigeons by saying, we may not stay with you next season, we may go to Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
Now, saying that, realistically, they could have put Mark on the factory bike in Gresini, right?
You don't know. That was never.
But even if
yeah.
Even if they lost Pramac, do you know what I mean? So it wouldn't have been in the end of the world, if you know what I mean. But I suppose that what my point was is that they hadn't fully decided which one was going to do this, and I think this is where that story came from. Then, where Ducati were going to leave the two boys race, and Martin said yes, and Mark said no because he didn't have the same equipment.
And I could see him saying that.
I could see him saying it too, but I still don't.
Take risk with the backing, with the history he has and the power he has.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's itching to beat the boys. Do you know what I mean? And
how does that work with the sponsorship? Isn't he sponsored by Red Bull? How does he just automatically
that's the big question. Will Monster Energy disappear from Ducati, which I think they only re-signed the contract mid last year for another 3 or 4 years. So it will be interesting to see. But I genuinely think the timeline of what it was that Pramac said we might go to, or we're most likely going to go to Yamaha. That put them kind of amongst the pigeons, because they did want to do an announcement, I believe, over the course of that weekend. Makes sense. They were in Italy, you know, they were going to announce Pramac, they're going to announce this. Cat amongst the pigeons with that. Then Martin was like, okay, well, they were trying to regroup and kind of say, okay, what are we actually going to do here? Martin was like, yeah, it's still the 2nd of June. I want my answer.
Yeah.
No answer. Fuck you, I'll do it. And I think Ducati then were not stuck with Mark, because that's the wrong thing, but like they would have looked from the outside completely incompetent as a management team if they lost both riders of those. Do you know what I mean? So look.
By the way, I know you don't look at the other sites, but I saw at least 3 of the bullshit sites, the flash pan sites, or what do you call it? Bait sites. That said Yamaha. It's official that Pramac is signed with Yamaha. You know, Pramac has announced that they're getting ridiculous. They're saying, oh, they already announced it. There hasn't been an announcement. They're just going out there now and flat lying. As far as I know, there's no announcement yet.
To get the views.
There's nothing official with Pramac signing with Yamaha yet, has it?
There's nothing official,
but it looks like it. That's for sure. I know. To me, I would think that's the best deal in town.
Huh?
If I was in their shoes, I would do it.
They need a satellite team, so they're probably willing to pay.
Yeah. They said they will, instead of Pramac paying Ducati, they will actually pay Pramac to run the bikes. They're free bikes.
Is it what factory bikes?
I genuinely think what will happen there is I definitely think it'll be more of a Yamaha operation running running the Pramac bikes, similar to what they have with Ducati now. You know, I think anything to do with a technical aspect of the bikes and this and that and the other will be all Yamaha funded or Yamaha actual employees, and then the hospitality and corporates and stuff and all that will all be Pramac own staff. That's what I would think.
Yeah, but
it's
we're making money instead of spending it.
Yeah, but it's a hell of a conversation to have with a sponsor, and I think this is where the delay is in the announcement, is talking like the sponsor Prima is Italian. Do you know what I mean? And with the Italian bike and whatever. So how do you get Prima free to go to a fucking Yamaha? Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway, look, I look, I genuinely don't know, huh?
Money. If the money is right.
No, but Prima are the sponsor. Prima pay the money. Mm-hmm. So if I'm paying you 50 million a year to be on the side of your bike, and you move from the best bike on the fucking grid to one of the worst,
yeah,
I'm not paying you fucking 50 million. You can fuck off. Do you know what I mean? And
will Yamaha pay them? Would Yamaha pay them to run?
But that no. So realistically, for Yamaha, like Prima would have known at the end of this season that Pramac were free to choose a different manufacturer and all of this. It's not about Yamaha paying money and whatever. It's the fact that Prima have an ongoing contract with Pramac. Okay. Mm-hmm. And me as a sponsor that I've just paid you 20 million, just say, to be on the best bikes, and now you're going to choose one of the worst bikes, right? That's going to be down the field. You're going to limit my my exposure and all of this and that and the other. So I'm going to say, listen, okay,
right.
I thought
Pramac was the owner. I didn't know they were responsible.
Well, it's not Pramac, but I'm just talking about Pramac is the team. Prima is the sponsor. Right. You know, well, I think Pramac is actually a sponsor as well, but what I mean there is like the team owner will have to probably take a financial hit by moving to Yamaha. Now, Yamaha would probably give them a financial package to help with that hit, but still saying that, you know, they will still have to have budget to move things around and whatever. Yamaha's probably financial package will cover riders, mechanics, parts, crash damage, you know, all of this stuff. Might not cover the logistics and race entries and stuff like that.
I read that they were carrying. Said Yamaha. Well, it said that they were going to cover all their expenses, which I was like, wow, holy Christ!
I wouldn't think all
expenses, and give money.
I think it would all be all racing expenses rather than all expenses. I still think, like half of the show of a MotoGP team is the bikes and the garage, right? The other half is the dignitaries and all of that. So I don't think Yamaha will be covering anything of that. I think all kind of racing stuff will be.
I know when they said they're covering all expense, I know it was a broad statement, but
yeah, I think it's racing expenses. But it's really interesting what's going on. There's definitely argy-bargy between Gigi and your man from Pramac. They are friends.
But if they were going to go back with Ducati, they especially have to be with, since they've been with them for 20 years, which I didn't realize, that they would have said something by now.
Right. Yeah, and I think, I personally think
they did. But it must have had to be a lie.
Yeah. I kind of think the treatment that they've given to Jorge Martin has also been a bit of a trigger, right? They passed him over once. Mm-hmm. You know, there was talk of them passing him over again. Do you know what I mean? Even though that he's done nothing wrong this season. Like
right.
I think they wanted Martin in that slot, but they got what you said. They had their arm twisted off. They wanted him in there. It's not really Ducati's fault. They wanted him in there, but then Marquez changed his mind and he just screwed him up, screwed everybody.
But I don't think there was the Marquez changed mind. I think it was definitely your man from Pramac turned around and said we're more likely going with Yamaha. and then that fucked their whole plan up.
So it wasn't Marquez, it was
That
Pramac.
demand was about what happened
That's where
to
I think.
Martin.
Mhm.
If they were the promulgators of the situation, why would they be upset because what they telling how Martin got traded?
How do you mean? I think, yeah, but that's my point. That's my point where they're turning around to them and they're saying, so like when they chose Bastianini over Martin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Martin was he was pissed, right? And they're promising like, Joe, look, we will take care of you. We'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do the other, right? And then all of this stuff came in, and it was like Martin was leading the championship. Everything was right. The boy could do no more. And remember, Pramac would be very, very much so more loyal to Martin than Ducati. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's their boy. He's their poster boy.
He's the one they talk to every day.
Yeah. And then they turn around and they start to question. And they did openly talk about it. It's between three riders. It's between Bastianini, it's between Marquez and Ducati came out and said that, and I think that pissed them or Pramac right off, and they were like, you know something, fuckers, like, you know, he's told us he will not stay in the satellite team for another year. We've been very honest with you. Now you're talking and trying to look at different solutions and all of this fucking bullshit. And like realistically, we're all assuming
around the same time though.
Hmm?
That was around the same time when they announced that they may not, or whatever that rumor was that came out, was when or after Martin talked to Ducati and they didn't have an answer for him.
Yep.
Well, the rumor was that when they called Martin, they said, "Listen, give us 2 more weeks," because they were trying to get Marquez to go into this Pramac.
No, I yeah, that was the initial rumor, but I actually think what it was that Pramac came in and said we're most likely going to go with Yamaha, and then everything went up into the fucking air because they've just lost their factory supported satellite team, right?
Mhm.
Right, nothing. Do you know what I mean? Nothing. So realistically, nothing is in place. Like, and this is what I find strange about it is, and this is why I think it is that because Mark always said that he was very happy in Cristini, and if he was going to get a factory bike in Cristini, he would have stayed, right? But
is that the truth though?
But if you look at his statement and what he said, right? Pramac is a great team, but I wouldn't trade one satellite team for another.
Right.
So he wants a factory seat.
So he wanted the factory seat. So what happened then, I believe, is that Ducati then were like, "Oh fuck, we don't have a satellite team. The team that Jorge was going to be in
ain't there.
Is not going to be there anymore. So he would have to change team, or Mark would have to change it. So everything went on that Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was whoever, what's his name from Pony or whatever it is from Pramac, turned around to them and said, "We're most likely going to go with Yamaha," and that scuttled everything. And this is why they wanted more time.
But you know what's weird? At that time, or even a little longer after that, the guy came out and said, "We're going to have Ducatis." Remember that guy from Pramac?
No, he's always said that line. Borsoi has always said this. We're talking about the other fellow, the owner. But Borsoi has always said we have a factory contract. Everything is almost signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah,
we're going to be there. He had to toe that line. He could not come out and say we haven't decided yet, because that would just fucking drive fucking everything demented. And I think he only may be a spectator in those conversations. Do you know what I mean?
right.
If it's the old Italian mafia way, yeah, he is. It's done with the big boss, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? What's his name? Carlo Camponi or
Where is he?
No, I can't remember. But anyway, like for me, but that's where what I reckon happened is that Pramac were the linchpin to the grenade blowing up. Ducati, Lenovo for factory were trying to buy more time. Martin said, "Fuck ye, I gave you your deadline. I want to walk across to," and look, it's very strange. He had that whole contract done and dusted within 12 hours.
Yeah. According to them, I thought it was within 6 hours.
No, I think it's within 12 hours. I think,
Yeah.
or sorry, within 24 hours because it's probably 18.
Those contracts take a hell of a lot longer than that to write up between the sponsors and all that. Yeah.
So Martin, so this
That was
is
a smart move.
I think this leads me, and that's what leads me to kind of say it was Martin pulled the trigger rather than Ducati told them we're going with Mark. And then I think not that they're stuck with Mark, but they're kind of stuck with Mark. That senior management in Ducati would look completely incompetent if they lost Mark to KTM, say,
Right. I think that was worse.
To
you losing Martin, it's a hit, but it's not as big of a hit as losing Marquez.
Yeah.
Or losing
they
both.
lost it. They didn't take it to Marquez. They could give it to Martin, and they would have lost one guy. They had to lose one of them too.
But imagine them losing Marquez. That's a
Marquez. No. Losing them both. That was
them both. Yeah,
losing them both was the biggest danger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because realistically, and this is where I think, and again I'll go back to it. That's why I think Martin made a decision. He asked for the answer. They didn't give him the answer, or they were like, "Oh, look, we need more time." Fuck it, go. I do it myself.
Trying to buy up everybody.
And
KTM seems like they're trying to buy up everybody.
Well, you see,
and they're known for buying up engineers and paying phenomenal money for them. Like they can poach anybody as far as the engineers. They spend more than anybody.
Pedro Acosta woke everyone up on the grid to say the KTM / Gas is not a bad bike. Because you look at it, Maverick favors himself as an alien. He does. Bastianini was the next best thing up and coming.
Yeah.
Right. Maverick was on probably one of the best bikes out there, just inconsistent. And he's made the jump to go now. I think it was financially too, right? But he's made the jump. He made the jump.
He's good. He said he's fine. It's not about
listen, look, I'd always sleep easier if I had an extra 20 million in my bank account. Do you know what I mean? But I think they saw that bike and they're like, that bike is ready. Do you know what I mean? And they're looking at what Acosta is doing on it, and he's like blowing everyone the fucking out of it in the team. And I think what they don't realize is how special Pedro is. And like I did a video during the week where Quartararo talked about him, right? And when Quartararo says that you're a fucking talented rider, you know, there is probably no bigger compliment that you can get in MotoGP. Do you know what I mean? How he dances with the front, how he's already on the brakes and use them. So I wish them the best of luck there. Do you know what I mean? Because I think Pedro is going to make fucking shit at a lot of them and be like, no, my price is going up and up and up.
I won't. People are starting to call. Believe it or not, people are starting to call him a goat already. I won't do that. Not this.
Let him win a couple of championships and he's a goat.
Yes, then you say, okay,
no,
you know what I mean?
That's kind of wrong, right? Because I would still class Danny Pedrosa as a goat.
Yeah.
Right. I would, and I genuinely would.
Goat is a legend. Is that a legend?
It's one of the greatest of all time. Look, and he was. There is no doubt that he was just very lucky or unlucky that there was a number of goats around his career, right? So, like, just because
Rossi.
he didn't win, he had Rossi, Stoner,
Marquez,
Lorenzo.
Who won the fight?
No one. It didn't actually happen. I don't believe. I think it turned into a verbal fight, and just like.
Oh, they were verbally fighting, the verbal debate.
I think it turned into a verbal. Like I tried to tune in. I tried to find it, and I couldn't. I had my friend over in Spain, and I was just like, "Fuck's sake!" I wanted to see one of them thump the head off each other, and like.
But let me tell you, I saw Lorenzo hitting the bag. Okay.
Yeah.
I could come in with a hangover at my age and jab literally 5 times harder than he threw with an overhand right. It was just so
they're not they're not boxers. They're just doing.
They're not. Yeah, they're not
I
boxers.
mean, you naturally throw an arm punch, which everybody does. You do, so do you, CB. You're going to throw
Right,
an
but
arm punch. Just to see
I
where
wish
you're
I wish they would have like a retro race or something, like where you get Rossi, Lorenzo, Stoner, like in like a 7-lap race on a super bike.
Well,
or something.
I actually talking about that. Monster Energy did an event during the week in Silverstone, and they had all their greatest riders there. And fuck me, man, it was some
Dunlop
who's
there.
who. Dunlop, you had John McGuinness, Randy Mamola, Johnny Ray, the VR46 Academy, Rossi,
Everybody.
Buliga. I think that was a bit.
it was one of the days you were off from trying to catch a Honda, trying to catch a Ducati, and you had your crash. I was telling about the
road came up and hit you.
And Stoner was behind him. When Stoner wrote the article in Sport Bike Magazine, he couldn't catch him. Stoner could not catch him. He goes, "Who the hell is that guy?" To Wayne Rainey or Wayne Gardner. He goes, "That's Freddie Spencer. I couldn't catch him my whole fucking career." Because he's just a freak.
See, that would be great to have like a goat race. What about a goat race?
Yeah,
all the legends.
I think the closest you'll ever get to that is actually a pack of fucking goats themselves.
Man, but that would be
it would be iconic. It would be iconic to do it and get them all out on Suter 500s, proper fucking 2 strokes.
Hey,
so none of this fucking shit, Joe.
Roberts beat Rossi in a dirt track race. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Everyone getting stoned off the smell of pure castor oil and orgasm.
He's a line of castor oil back there. You don't notice. He's like, oh, oh, the burn.
The burn. Yeah, but sure, look, it's worth it. It's worth it. But no, look, it's there's a couple of weird things going on, and I do find it very weird that the whole Pramac situation where they haven't shot or got off the pot yet. No, they don't need. They don't necessarily need to either, though. Do you know what I mean? They can sit in the toilet all along because look, they have 2 really good offers there that they can say fine.
You would think because when you switch over, there's going to be work involved, right? So you think they'd want to get ahead of the game, and then now they can get it over with and get started.
But what work is involved? If so half of Pramac's team currently now are Ducati employees, right?
Yeah.
Or half of Pramac. So when they fuck off and Yamaha come in, it's going to be all Yamaha techs for the garage. So there's not actually going to be a lot of changeover. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There because realistically, it's going to be a Yamaha in.
I was going to say, there'll be a lot of changeover. They're going to get rid of the Ducati people, and they'll bring in Yamaha people.
That will happen in 20 minutes. Didn't we not see that there? Remember RNF when they switched from Yamaha?
Man,
the bikes were gone and the hoardings and the stickers and like that was Sunday, Tuesday. The fucking for the test, the new stuff was up and it was.
That was like overnight. That was crazy.
Like, that stuff is 20 minutes to fucking take down and put up again. Do you know what I mean? Like realistically, going into the last race, if they were stopping with Ducati, just say which. It's highly likely they would literally, it'd be a turnkey operation of in and out.
Yeah, they had the end of July, right?
I think, yeah. I've heard the rumor that it's not going to be till the start of or after the summer. So.
And they're going to stop having these long breaks in the middle of their freaking racing.
Well, I think this one is because of race was cancelled, wasn't it? So,
right.
So there's not much they can do there.
So summer break is after Germany.
We only have 2 more races, then we take another break in July, don't we?
And actually, Joe, talking about that, right? Joe, normally I fuck it all up, right, with my holidays and this, that, and the other, and whatever, right? So now, to be fair, I booked my holidays a year in advance, right? So I'm heading out to Portugal, and actually, lads, you'll fucking kill. Okay, so I normally go on holidays from the first week of August to the third week of August. Okay,
Yeah.
and this year herself was given out to me, and she's like, so I was like, okay, so I will book that. I will go from kind of middle of July to the first week of August. So I fly home on like the 5th of August. Does anyone want to look at the World Superbike calendar for August right now?
If I get there, I'll probably lose it. Oh, yeah, okay.
What's that? I'll do it. World Superbike calendar 2024. Round 7. Now I'm staying in a place called in Algarve in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 15 kilometers, maybe 20 kilometers from Portimao.
You say Algar, that sounded familiar.
Algarve.
Algar, yeah.
So the Portuguese round in Algarve
That's okay.
is on. I'm back on the 5th of August. Is on from the 9th till the 11th.
The next week.
That weekend that I'm fucking coming home, and I'm like a fucking antichrist. And I only discovered it about 2 days ago. I was just like, balls anyway. Do you know what I mean? I normally just miss. Normally, I'm just gone home before it, or I come out just before it, or just after it, or whatever.
Are you gonna make it this year?
Huh? No.
So you're gonna make it this year?
No, I'm gonna be home 4 days before the fucking weekend.
Oh man!
And I was just like, fuck anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I have a lot of friends in the circuit there, so I'm sure I could have got some VIP passes and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was pretty disgusted, to be fair, when I saw it. But look, it is what it is. If you can get there, 100% get there and go and enjoy the weekend. Algarve's fucking awesome.
Next week we got Assen.
Assen this week. It's race week.
Yep.
Assen, what a track. Although, Joe, something I miss the old
There's tires. Assen, if I remember, they just redid it and they used cheap asphalt and it just chews up tires.
But I miss the old Assen, Joe. Like
Yeah.
I remember going around it on a scooter and the old circuit. And I was just like, fuck, this is scary. On a scooter, lads. On a fucking scooter at 30 or 40 mile an hour. I was like, this is scary. Could you imagine it like on a fucking 750 Superbike or whatever at the time? It's just like, but the newer one, it seems a little bit safer. if you get me. Which is, look, I don't know. It's hard to see what's going to happen. I think this one's really going to suit Pedro. I really, really think of it because Aston is a lot about the front end. Do you know what I mean? And getting that front end in. And
you know what's the odd thing about Pedro? He got better, and I mean, it seems like he did a jump in skills when he went to MotoGP, and you don't find that. You know what I mean? If you're lucky if they're on par going from Moto 2.
Yeah, and this is what Fabio,
you know,
this is what Fabio said, is that he what he does in the brakes and how he goes, his feel for going into the corner. He said it's just like completely natural to him. So it's just, so I think it's just one of those things that everything that he wanted that Moto 2 bike to do that wouldn't fully do it, the MotoGP bike is doing, and he's referenced that he feels is that like the Moto 3 or the Moto 2 bike, that it just feels natural to him to ride it. And like when someone's riding like that, they're fucking very, 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 very dangerous. Like, do you know what I mean? Because they can go to that next level. Like the crashes, the crashes that he had were pushing the front into the corner. Do you know what I mean? Now that bike was probably going into the corner, even when the corners when he went around it, probably 10 mile an hour faster than any other or the rest of his teammates. Do you know what I mean? On the same bike. So look, yeah, he was crashing up, but he's not having the rookie crashes. You know, he's not fucking looping at every fucking corner or coming out and he's doing through. he's having slow, low-sided ones where he just loses the front going in, or slow-ish, right? Losing the front going in, which, look, they're the crashes that you want to have. Do you know what I mean? You don't want the fucking high
Pushing.
side. And, you know, like, the question I do, and I'd love to have, is like, I would have loved to see Marquez versus Pedro on the same bike. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I would love to see Pedro on a Ducati and see what he will see how fast the Ducati really is. And I think that would scare.
Like everybody when Marquez came in, everybody said, "I wish he was on a Ducati." You know, when he first came in
Yeah.
2013. Everybody said the same thing. I wish he was on a Ducati. My God, he would fly.
Yeah,
That was like 2014, 2015 when they got the aluminum chassis down right.
Yeah, look, I think there's a couple of things, but I think this guy is the next generation of Marc Marquez, and I think Marc Marquez recognizes that, and I think Marc is kind of like, I need to get these two championships done before he gets fucking the wind behind his sails.
I love to check their lines. I love to see the difference in their lines. So
he turns into the corner. Pedro turns into the corner so early. Like, it's frightening actually, because you think he's going to T-bone him. If you watch his corner entry, he turns the bike super early, and you're thinking, are you really going to make the apex here? Do you know what I mean? It's
Roberts did that. Roberts Senior was the one that said it used to do that. Turn in super early.
Yeah, he's diving into the corner, and he'd be maybe a foot and a half inside the person that he's following, and he's not going for a pass. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he's still far enough behind him that he's not going to pass them. But his lines going into the corner are really super early. It's really interesting to watch his style and see how he goes. But I'm gonna go that he's gonna win a sprint race this weekend.
Oh yeah.
You're really pushing it on it, aren't you?
I think he's capable of it, and I think this is the sort of circuit where you need balls, all right, and he has plenty fucking of them to go for it. Do you know what I mean?
Did you see the video where Martin has from here? I mean, the whole body, the shoulder, all the way down to his elbow. And he's holding up this leg, and he does it halfway through the corner. Half from the apex on, he's just all the way over, like.
And actually,
his chin is like 4 inches,
like on the side of the tire.
Yeah, actually, if he can, on Instagram or Facebook or one of those or whatnot,
it's one of those shorts.
If you look at the Monster Energy event that they had on, you could tell the MotoGP riders from the Superbike riders from the road racers just by the lean angle on the bike. Okay. Like, if you put them all on the same bike and gave them all the same letters and whatever, you'd be like, that's a road racer. That's like you could see like Pecco and all of those. They were like, shoulder was elbows down, shoulder was almost down, going through the corner, leaning very far forward on it.
But they're holding the bike up higher. If you look at it, they'll hold that bike up higher to get more rubber on the ground.
But you were looking then at the likes of Dunlop, and that the elbow wasn't anywhere near the ground. They were going through the same corner.
Yeah.
Right? Elbow wasn't anywhere near the ground. Do you know what I mean? They were pushing on, don't get me wrong. But it was just the riding style, that from the GP style to maybe the normal road racer style. It was just fascinating to watch.
So you think it's the bike that allows them to do that? Or you say
no,
you
it's the style of rider, like you could definitely see the GP riders, like how they would push it to the extreme more to get that bike to turn. Whereas the road racers are going in, they're probably going in 15 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour slower than the GP riders, because they're not fucking leaning over, so they're getting that bike to turn. So it was just fascinating to watch it. And if anyone has access to it, definitely have a watch, and you'll see the different lines, you see the different body positions on the bike. I know different bikes have different body positions and stuff, but I just thought it was interesting to see Who are you going for sprint race on Friday? Or Saturday, sorry.
Saturday. Ah, man. I'm gonna go Marquez. I'm switch it up a little bit.
Sprint win on Saturday. Checky Poo?
I'm gonna go Marquez myself, and then I'm gonna go with Martin on the whole full race, because I think doesn't he's had a horrible races that guy never did well at Aston.
Yeah, but I'm
gonna go Marquez for the win.
Yeah, double for Mark.
Double.
I think Pecco will do Sunday. I think.
Wasn't Aston the one he fell and then fell again? He
Marquez?
fell,
I
and
thought
then he got back on the bike, and he goes 2 more corners and dropped it again.
I thought that was
I think
Fabio.
something like that. Oh, Fabio, yeah.
Fabio
He got
did
into a
too,
crash.
Yeah, so
and both of them have done it.
Yeah. No, I think he's out as like. I think Martin is probably the one that's the most fuck you. Now I'm going to take the number 1 plate to Aprilia.
Yeah, he has.
He is
like.
Yeah, he is the most dangerous person for the rest of the season. I don't know. I think Pecco seems quite calm recently, and I think it's like
I don't know about the sprints. It's something about Pecco and his sprints that just don't gel together.
Although he's done okay, yeah, he hasn't won a sprint this year, but he's been super aggressive. Like normally in the sprints, he falls.
Hold on a second. Didn't he win a sprint this year?
He's won one, yeah, but yeah. There's a lot of fucking races.
But he fell. Remember in Catalonia, he was ahead and he fell. So
he fell.
It's something about the sprints.
But you kind of saw his aggression because he passed Martin where he fell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's like, I fucking passed him there on purpose,
on
right?
Purpose.
So,
yeah, that was the thing. He did it on purpose.
Right. So look, I think if I'm very honest, I think Martin is the danger person to take that away. I think for Pecco
again, Mac, watch him, CP. Who are you picking for
sprint?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go Pedro Acosta for the left.
That's right. And then who's taking for the win?
And Pecco then for the.
Because watch him, he cheats. He changes his mind all the time. He does it every time. All of a sudden, you'll get qualifying, and then he changes.
No. If I say it in the podcast, I normally stick with it. Or if I change it on the Friday, I say I change. If I remember, actually, because I never actually script anything I write, so I do record. But then saying that, I do find it interesting, Mark's comments about Gigi during the week. And listen, I always look for this.
Signed with KTM. Didn't you see the memo on the YouTube?
Yes. So
that was still I saw.
Yeah. So look, I was reading articles by really good credible sites, and they're like, Mark demanded to know whether Gigi was going to stay or not. Now, let's be very fair. Mark's probably asked the question, but they didn't have to tell him where Gigi was going to fucking go. Right? There was no fucking demand that Mark wanted to have this. And I always watch, like, Mark will come in, and Tardazzi was like, when Mark comes in here, Mark is going to be walking on eggshells. Like, do you know what I mean? He is going to be, and he will, right? Like, you have to look at it. Marquez maybe at best has 3, maybe 4 seasons left in him in MotoGP, right? He'll be too old then, do you know what I mean? He won't bounce.
We're just talking about this before the podcast, because I said Marquez is not going to come in there and say, I got the best parts, and he's not going to get them. They're going to tell him everybody gets the same stuff, Mark. I don't care who you think you are.
Yeah. It will be like Mark is not their superstar. Do you know what I mean? Pecco currently is, right?
But he wants to be.
He wants to be, but that's not how it rolls in the factory, right? And
it's going to be interesting.
Mark is coming into the finished product, whereas Pecco came in a lot earlier on it, and he's worked himself into the position. Like otherwise, they wouldn't have signed Pecco straight away, right? Do you know what I mean? And like if they really wanted Mark, and this is one of the things I will always say, if they wanted Mark day one, they would have fucking signed him. Bang, 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 bang. No problem. That's it, right? And they would have done that in January, right? They saw the smile on his face in November, in Valencia. They could have signed him January 1.
Right.
Bang, no problem, right?
Yes.
They didn't. They chose to go with Pecco first. Secure Pecco thing, right? Not saying that Mark is going in as a number 2, but Pecco is the favourite son.
Yes.
Gigi has always come out and said Pecco has nothing left to prove. He's won his championships. He just go and enjoy it and do his racing, and that's it.
But Mark's never played. He's never played the second seat. He's always played the superstar.
Yeah, but that's where it is, and that's what Tardazzi said. Tardazzi is like, he's going to come in here. He's going to do it Ducati's way. It's not realistically going to be built around him anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Pecco is a 2-time world championship, maybe 3-time. Do you know what I mean? He's how many champion? No, he'll be 5-time. He is it 3 or 4?
3-time champ. But
yeah, he has one.
Yeah, but if he wins it now, he'd be 4. If he wins this year, he'd be 4. So
I don't count the Moto2s though. I don't know if anybody else.
Well, Mark does, and the rest of the world does. So
they usually don't know. They usually say Mark Marquez 6-time champ.
No, because
Mark is 8. He has the 8 ball.
He has
the
8
ball thing.
Yeah, he has an 8 ball up there. Yeah,
Rossi is 9, and that's including his 125 and 250 days. So
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So,
because
so
Rossi counted. They're his too, right?
Yeah. So if you look at it, but look, when he goes in there, and look, this is where I find it very funny is like Mark then always comes out now and says, "Oh, I wouldn't have gone to Ducati if Gigi was leaving." And you're like, "Shut up, fool! You would have gone to Ducati." You're like, he's already developed next year's bike. Do you know what I mean? If he is retired or if he's gone to another team, like if he went to fucking Honda, just say, is Mark saying that he'd go back to fucking Honda? No, he fucking wouldn't. No, he might go back in 2 years when Gigi has done his work there. Do you know what I mean? But would you not? So, but all I see this is like, do you know that fucking brown noser at work? The other one is like his head is so far up his manager's arse, like he's trying to get to the next. But that won't work for Mark. He just goes in there, rides his bike, and does his thing, right? And that will work enough for him. But like the town where I live for 20 odd years, but I'm from another town over the road, right? Over the road, over the Fort Tarmac Road on the right hand side, right? But I will always be a fucking blow in here, right? I'm not from here, right? And if you look at Ducati, Pecco is Italian, raised in that team. Do you know what I mean? He's their prized possession.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Now, come on,
Can you see Mark?
He had to come back from. Remember that? That's the first time I noticed him. He won a race, or did he come close to winning a race? He was second, I think. But with a broken leg, and that's the first time I said, "Man, that kid's good." With a broken leg, he's going that hard. Jesus Christ! That made me jump. Look at him.
And that's Pecco. You talking Pecco?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I can't see Mark, like, say they're battling, because it's going to happen next year. Pecco and Mark are going to be, want to be in first. I can't see Mark, like, holding back and letting him win.
There won't be one or two. There will not be a number 1 rider and number 2 rider status. That won't happen, right? And Ducati, to be fair to them, have never put in the team orders in place, right? Yeah. People are saying all of this, that. If they were putting team orders in place, Jorge Martin wouldn't be beating Pecco in the championship.
Not a fiddler's chance, right?
And let's be very fair. So,
let me make one thing clear to people. Let me have my 2 seconds here on this one. if Ducati comes out this year, okay, and they come out with a new part and they give it to Pecco, but they don't give it to Martin, okay, that is not foul play. That's normal. Anybody that's moving out of a team, they do not show them new parts. That's
100%.
That doesn't mean Ducati's cheating or giving them the shaft. That
Well,
means moving on to another team, and I don't want to show you my stuff. That's all.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it. Like with testing, he will just test on his race bike now. He won't be getting new parts or anything like that. That's just standard operations.
Yes.
I think to go back to CV's question, I don't think Ducati care whether Pecco beats Mark or Mark beats Pecco. I think
That's fair.
as long as a red bike wins, they don't really care, right?
I think they care a little bit. I would think they'd want Pecco to win, but
I don't.
they
I
prefer.
think they care if they crash. They don't want them to crash into each other.
Yes, for sure.
And I think that's it. I think they'll be very afraid of the nil point problem, right? And that is going to be a problem because Pecco won't back down and Mark won't back down.
Right.
And I think that's where everyone is saying that they would assign Martin rather than Mark because Mark will not give in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I can definitely see a bigger problem. And Ross Brawn, remember from Ferrari and Formula One and all of this, he said it quite openly on the grid in Mugello. He's like, if I cared about the team structure and how the team is going to be, I'd sign Martin because Mark is going to cause chaos in there. When
but then saying on the top of his feet, you know that.
But saying that, the other thing that I do remember someone saying, and it was quite as simple as this: you do not fuck with Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what Gigi says goes.
Yes, he's also used to having his way.
Exactly, and he is the big boss. So realistically, you act the bollocks. That's fine. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You won't ride the fucking bike. It's simple as that. Like, do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think it will be a great battle between the two. And listen, you will have the people out there, right? If Pecco beats Mark on the same equipment, we'll say, "Oh, Ducati are favoring thing."
Yeah.
If Mark beats Pecco on the same equipment, they'll say, "Well, everyone thought Pecco was a great rider, but obviously he's not." You know,
both are great riders.
Exactly. Like there, and I always said this: there is not one rider out there that is not a really good rider.
Yeah.
You know, no, they're not. We talk about them that like, okay, are they slower compared to those riders? Yes, right. They have more talent in their little fucking fingers than we will ever have in our whole bodies, right?
If you go to a track day and you see your fastest guy, their hot shoe, or whatever track you're at, and Stefan Bradl came in there, Bradl would kick his ass.
Kill him, yeah, absolutely murder him, yeah. So, and it's one of the things that I have always massive respect for, and I know sometimes it can be like that we're flippant and talking that he's slow, and he's slow compared to the group that he's riding in. You know, like I could be in a bunch of fat people, and I could be the skinniest fat person there. Do you know what I mean? It's all about context of how you look at things. So, for me, in the Ducati warfare, I think Gigi will have a very, very tight rein on Mark and Pecco. And if things start hitting the fan, I think, you know, there could be, like, I could see Ducati cancelling a contract. So if all out work happened and there was fucking walls going up here and there and everything, I can see someone's contract at the end of the year being terminated. That's it. Good luck. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you know he wants another championship. But his time is limited. So,
but that's his problem. There's no one out there. There's no one on that grid that doesn't want that championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all as fucking hungry as each other.
Yes. They want their first one, and that's more that you want your first one, you want your 10th one.
when you get your first one, you need to fucking legitimize it by winning your second.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then you have the bug, you know. Like
But
if you
Marquez has those silk pajamas on. It's hard to get up at 5:00 in the morning with silk pajamas on, as Hopkins said, fighter Bernard Hopkins said.
yeah, and look, that's true. Look, I don't think it's as hard as for him to get up now as it was last year with Honda. Do you know what I mean? His motivation to go now that he can battle at the front, and that is also close. Whereas last year, you know, let's dump me on my fucking head 6 times in one weekend, and I think I'll go home though. Do you know what I mean? So
Pecco's proved himself. He's good to go.
he has his second championship. If he gets his third one, you know, realistically, he's in MotoGP now. I mean, that he has legitimized himself. You know,
those little mistakes that people are putting him back for. You know, the when he dumps it in the last, you know.
Listen, and one of the things that I always say and kind of think about this, you know, is like you won't even be able to fucking do that. Do you know what I mean? Even if we gave you a fucking MotoGP bike,
yeah,
you wouldn't get in 10 seconds of their fucking lap time, even on the same bike.
On the same bike, yep.
Even on the same fucking bike, because you probably wouldn't go around the corner to fucking get the tires up the temperature or the fucking brakes up the temperature. And first corner or second or third corner, you press the brakes, front wheel will fucking lock because they're cold.
Even the slowest person in MotoGP, we probably wouldn't.
But there is no slow person in MotoGP.
Yeah, there is.
You look at, like, even okay, there is a pig of a bike of a Honda, right? And Marini is normally the tail end Charlie, and he's 2 seconds a lap. We wouldn't get within fucking 20 seconds of them. So we're 18 seconds behind fucking Marini. Do you know what I mean?
All you say is coming down that straightaway, and as loud as those motorcycles are, all you hear is shit when I come to the first corner. Shit, I'm fucked.
They're lapping you every 5 laps.
Yeah, they're laughing.
Right.
So that's so if you look at it right in a race, like if you were like 20 seconds off in a 25 lap race, you know, you'd be 5 laps behind. That's how bad, you know. That's the average. That's not even the average. That's probably a pretty good mid-level rider. Like I think there's something in thing that you can do a track day with Valentino around Misano, and you have to supply footage of you doing a certain lap time around Misano.
Oh, I can see that.
And then you might, and then you have to provide race time, lap times and stuff like that. It's fucking like, but you know what I mean? And they're like, we're not taking any fucking fellas there that has all the gear and no idea. Do you know what I mean?
I did do the high banks of Daytona. All the way up the top by the wall. Went around the Daytona.
Man.
Yeah, well, they had this thing, and they said, ride the high banks of Daytona, and then everybody's going around the edge at the apron. Well,
they don't want to smack the wall.
You know, everybody's pissed off. I got mad, and I went, yeah, and I'm in a Bergman, a 650 Bergman, those big scooters. You know what I mean? So I rode down to Daytona. Piss on this. So they have people standing up, or kind of not standing up there, but anyhow, piss on this. I go up, right? Everybody follows me. I mean, 50 people. Oh, piss on that. Yeah, fella. And everybody's flying around the guys, and they're so pissed off. I come back down after we ran out a couple times. They're like, you know, blah, 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 you shouldn't have done that. He's how pissed off. You shouldn't have tried to con us, tell us what we were going to do the high banks of Daytona. What a bullshit thing is this. Dude, it was expensive to do that. You know, it was like 4 laps for, $60. It was like, piss on you. I'm not, you know. Go. I said, go have me arrested. What are you going to do? Go call cop.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah. Anyway, on that bombshell, I think
we're not doing the bombshell. You know what we didn't do yet?
Well,
Aprilia. Who's Aprilia's second man?
Well, they're saying it's Bezzecchi, but sure, look, that's only fucking rumors for now.
But that makes sense. We've been talking about this for a while. About Italian rider. You know. So,
I'm more interested in the gap that it's going to leave in VR46, because I reckon VR46 could be riderless.
What? I mean,
Come
Franco.
on.
Oh, but would you bring?
Valentino Rossi's team is going to be riderless.
Yeah,
No, I got Franco and then Aldeguer.
You got Aldeguer, right?
I think Aldeguer is going to Grassini.
No.
Mm.
Who wants Frankie though?
I think, but I think Digi
Frankie's
then
doing something, man. He's doing a little something.
Yeah, but you get millions of dollars. I don't want to see somebody get $1 million doing a little something. You know what I mean?
No, like he's not getting. He's
he
definitely
got hurt.
getting.
Remember, he got hurt. So
Yeah, if I was getting him $50,000 a year, then maybe I'd say okay, you can.
Franco in the last few races has done pretty well. To be fair to him, right? To be genuinely fair, he has done well. Where I think VR46 could be in trouble is if Seki does go to Aprilia. Now, look, according to a number of places, he's in what is the exact line that they're saying?
set.
He is set for a 2025 Aprilia move, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I said to you guys on the thing, we've heard many people set for this move and that move and the other move. Yeah. Right, so there is negotiations, but there's no signature yet. Do I expect it?
On that bike, though?
I think he'll do okay. He's a front end conscious rider, so I think he's definitely he'll be okay with the Aprilia, I think. But what I do think is going to happen is I think there's going to be 2 free spaces in VR46. I can really see Digi Antonio being pulled into that Yamaha Pramac debacle.
Another guy with 9 lives.
Yeah. And listen, look, he's I think he's next best behind Marquez on the GP23. So he's performing. Do you know?
Yeah,
he's not performing the best. So look when I look at it.
Zeki, they say isn't doing that great. Where the hell's he at?
Who?
He is he's 11th in the standings, and
he's 11th.
Gian Antonio is 9th.
Yeah, so, but Gian Antonio's on a Ducati. Zeki's on
Ducati. They're both in VR46.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I mean. I think if Pramac go to Yamaha, I think Digi could be going there. Maybe. That would leave 2 free seats in VR46. And I can see
Top Rack. Yeah.
No, I don't think Top Rack to VR46.
I'm saying Pramac.
I would think I would think if there's 2 free seats at VR46, I would think one is for Morbidelli.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, and I think the other is for Marini.
Yep. No, they're saying Marini is with Honda. I don't know why they're.
He has a 2-year deal. This is his first year of a 2-year deal.
Oh, they're gonna break it.
If he doesn't get to fucking 10 points or fucking whatever by the end of the season, gone.
You think that Honda will dump him, or he's gonna walk?
I think he's gonna walk. Would you fucking go through a pointless season, literally?
No points, and all you got is bandages and breakage.
I think Nakagami has more points than
he does.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
more points. So
Marini
has to rag on him.
Well. I think Pedrosa even has more fucking points than Marini.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
So there you go.
That's how bad it is.
Current situation.
Temporary rider has more than you. We got what? He has.
Yeah, he did one race. A rider who did one race has more points than you.
And you have no.
Yeah, but I think
no points. We have as many points as he does. We're tied with Marini.
But I think Pedrosa beat Mir last year. Same sort of situation.
Same thing. Yeah.
So we don't we. For me, I just I don't know, and I was going to do a video on it, and then I was like, something. Look, I'm kind of trying to promise to stay away from the. It could be here. He could be going there.
Yeah. And that's it. There is so much out there. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's getting worse every day. The nut jobs on there.
Yeah, there is so much harsh shit out there, and All I can say to people is report them and whatnot. You know, they're completely fake. They look. I tell you, there's a very simple way and rule that you look at it in YouTube on channels, right? There's not a channel out there except for like the likes of Mr. Beast and all of these, right? That get in around 100 million views and whatnot, right? And whatever. But every video that Mr. Beast, say for example, would do is a hit, right? Because he's a brand. He's this. But if you have 10,000 subscribers, just say, your view count should be between 700 and 1,500 on average. They're your views, right? Somewhere in and around there. 10 to 15% of your subscriber base is your in around. So if you see these fake channels come up and they have 600 subscribers, but every single video that they have is 24,000 views or 15 or 17 or no, there's no YouTuber out there or YouTube channel that every video that they do in a non kind of brand way, or like in the likes of Mr. Beast and that doesn't happen. So if you have 600 subscribers, but every video that you have has like 5,000, 8,000, 10,000. If you're getting
Japanese Cup next week, by the way, did you pick on who's going to win the Japanese Cup next weekend?
It's Fabio.
It has to be Fabio. So there's no point in it. But with those videos, you just have to look at it, and and then you'll know straight away, by the pronunciation of the writers, if it sounds like a video or of a computer saying it.
AI.
And it's AI, and how it works, and I can tell you how it works. So if I go into ChatGPT or whatnot, and I put in Marc Marquez moving to Ducati, it will spit back articles and jumble them together, and then you can go off and you can get this voiceover, and it will make the video for you and do a voiceover, and then you put up your video. So it's actually not genuine news. It's multiple articles, and that's how you know it. It's like if I was to do it, it would cut down my video production time. I think it would cut it down to about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's longer than I actually talk for on average in the videos. So
that's where all the fake news comes from, or gossip, rumors, all that stuff.
Yeah, and what they do then is that they do one of two things. One, they either sell the channel because they've got 1,000 fake subscribers and watch time, and they sell that channel as a monetized channel to someone, or else they try and get fake sponsorships on board, and they pay them like say €1,000 to advertise on their videos for 2 months or whatnot, and then that hopefully drives traffic to their website. But they're all fake bots that are doing the views. So each view that they would have would last maybe 12 or 13 seconds, and it counts on the YouTube thing as a view. But what it actually does is destroys your channel, because the algorithm knows that, okay, someone comes on, it's a 5-minute video, they're watching
up on it.
They're watching 13 seconds and they're leaving. Then why will we serve this video to other people? So there's a whole algorithm thing and stuff there. But again, that's how they do it. It's not actually real. It's, as I said, 3 or 4 minutes in front of a video. Put it in. You'll always know it as well, as that the pictures that they were showing would not be current or up to date. So that's when you're looking at, that the person that's doing it is not. Like they'd show Pecco Bagnaia on a fucking Moto 2 bike or something. Do you know what I mean? Or they would show what's his name? Like they would show. They talk about Jorge or Joan Mir and his trouble in Honda, and then they'd throw up some Suzuki fucking images.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, and you're just like, and you're like, there is thousands of Joan Mir pictures. You know what I mean? So, anyway, definitely on that bombshell, we will end it up today. Thanks again, lads, for joining. It is race week. Finally, the drought will be over, and we'll see you then.
All right.
Take it easy, guys.